Hello, welcome to the psychrock.com. I get into some weird sounds. I like the vinyl. Do you like the vinyl? Yeah, you do. And if you don't, you should, because there's a lot of ways that you can make your music sound better, and one of those ways is to listen to vinyl. You got to get your record player set up. There's a bit of a learning curve. Kind of like learning a new instrument or something, getting your stereo, your needle, your record player all aligned, getting everything the way you want it so that it sounds really good. I'll tell you though, if you take that journey, you will notice a significant improvement in sound over streaming for sure. After a while, streams will start to sound like they're damaged, like there's something going wrong with the audio on that. And you'll be hooked on vinyl if you're really into sound and you've got a decent home stereo system and you've got time at home. I know a lot of people are listening to more vinyl and more of their own music at home because they're at their house at work. And maybe you got something where you're just writing emails and you can play all your favorite records all day long. So, then you start buying more records. So I really came here today to talk about records, LPs, and the different ways that they come and appear. So people are familiar with the black vinyl. It's just black vinyl in a cardboard case. But nowadays, too, there's these colored vinyls, too. You'll go to buy a vinyl from some band, and there'll be 4 options. There'll be a black one, there'll be a red one, there'll be a multicolored one, there'll be a splatter. Which one do you pick, and what's the difference? Well, I'll tell you what the difference is. They all look different. Yep, that's right. Simple answer, but for some people, looks mean a lot. You want your thing to look like as cool as possible, and so you're willing to get that colored vinyl. Or else maybe you're like, colored vinyl is a fad. Pacha! That shit is not gonna stick around, they say. And the reason somebody might say that is because there's a lot of people who believe that the multicolored vinyls do not have as good of a sound quality as the regular vinyls. Now, let's just take a quick peek at what I'm talking about. And I apologize because I think I need to do some manual focus on my camera to make everything work. This is the wooden ships. We got a cool LP gatefold, so that's when they fold open like this. Too much to even show on the screen. Here we go. Look at that. Super cool. So you got that, but I missed the boat on the limited edition color. So I've got here the black vinyl. Very cool. Love the stickers and quality thick vinyl. Not quite the 180 gram, which is the thickest. There are some that are thicker. And then let's just look at this amazing record from Kikagako Moyo. Look at that thing. I mean, maybe you can't with the plastic, but people sell this record right here online for about $100. So got the extra plastic on there, and we can get into that too. But check that. Whoa! This is from Beyond is Beyond Records. They got that sick colored vinyl. I mean, it's so amazing. Kikagako Moyo, Forest of Lost Children. But, so, I personally don't have a big problem with colored vinyl not sounding as good. I also don't have a super expensive needle. I've got an Audio-Technics record player. It's got all the tone weight and arm and everything to make the records play right. But I have not upgraded to the better cartridge. Instead, I started putting my money into my sound system. I've got a mixer back here that I use for this, and I actually run my stereo through it with some studio monitor speakers to get super articulate sound. And so a lot of the records, it's just so confusing because really you got to clean off your records when you get them from the factory. They can be pretty dirty, and it seems like the colored ones come a little bit more dirty. I've had some that are really gritty, or I just hear some noise, more noise than you should for a brand new record. And I'll clean it up. There's ways to wash records. I'm not going to get into that now, but you clean it, and I found it gets rid of the majority of those problems. Sometimes there's a bad press too. I mean, even on black, you can have a version that maybe just didn't press into the mold correctly, and so then you've got a record that doesn't sound right. It's a little crispy. So let's just take a look at some colored vinyl. Starting to realize that my setup here is not so good for showing off the amazing records. We've got OC's Protein Threat. This is very cool. Can't say that I haven't loved this album because I love it. I listened to it a bunch. I want some more of it. Luckily, he's got more coming out. But this guy, he's got this, you think it's a clear, but then when you pull it out the rest of the way, it's like this incredible split colored vinyl. Again, this is the most limited edition version of this. Came out with several different variations, and sometimes you just kind of get what you can get because things sell out quickly. Or else maybe it really matters to you that you're like specifically collecting that, and so you specifically want the most limited edition version of that vinyl. That's kind of the other thing with the colored vinyl. What's it for? What do you listen to your vinyl for? Is it because it's like super awesome and it looks cool and like you like to look at it and it looks awesome when it spins on your player plus the great music, and like that's all that matters to you? That's like 100% of the reason you're there. You're just a music lover and you want to love it as much as it can be loved, and so you get the most lovable version with all the colors and extras and posters and all the stuff? Yeah, so you want the colored vinyl. If you're like crazy audiophile, you got like $2 million worth of stereo equipment and 100 record cartridges, and you're like, oh well, the colored ones have a little bit more noise. And well, if you got that kind of stuff, it might matter. I don't know. That's pretty inaccessible to me, so I don't know what that's all about. I don't even know if I've heard records being played at that quality. But those people might want a solid color, whether it's a colored one, just solid tone, like, let's see if I can find one of those. Like OC's Face Stabber. Double LP. I mean, this is a really good record. And look, one's green, kind of transparent red, transparent green, but solid single colored vinyl. So what you're looking at there is a solid single colored vinyl. And those tend to have really great sound quality. But, I mean, I've gotten some records before that just maybe didn't come off the press right. You clean it, you put it on, it's just not sounding right. Maybe it's because my needle's not working right. Like maybe there's some static involved. Static can affect the sound and make things sound interesting. And interesting's not the right word. I mean, make things sound worse than they should. But also, there's static. So the static on your record could be changing the sound too. I have noticed that new records get really staticky. You can barely pull it out of the sleeve sometime, and the paper sleeves do create extra static, so some people will buy sleeves that are more of like a rice paper type material, and they don't build as much static, and they're easier on your records. The paper sleeves can scratch your records. So there's just a million factors. One day I picked up this very cool record here from, let's flip it the right way. Boom, from Dead Coast, Shambhala. Now, this record, I got the most limited edition version. I got the most limited edition version of this, and I can tell you right now that this is one of the you don't see it coming. Like, here it is, you got this record, pretty cool, it's some trees and very cool kind of surfy Psych thing. Whoa, wait for it. What the fuck? Oh, one of the sickest looking vinyls. Look at that. I don't know if that's a vinyl record or if that's like a painting. I mean, what do you do with that? That is sick. Well, so that's my jam on vinyl. I don't know if any of that made sense, but I'll say this. This is my first video that I'm doing like this, and I thought it went okay. I'm going to put it up anyway. I guess I could try and redo it, but I don't know. I feel like it went pretty well. So, there's one other thing I wanted to mention. Because some vinyl nowadays also is done on this sort of like random multicolor vinyl situation, and those are often the case that they are printing vinyl on recycled materials, which is good. It's very good. Taking old scraps and stuff and using them to make something wonderful that has value, I'm all about it. So, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard does that a lot, but I picked up one of those kind of random colored, they can't tell you which color you're going to get because they're all different or what it's going to look like. This Zone 6 album, Any Noise Is Intended, is a good example of that. What a cool album. These guys rock. Really. It's just, oh man, Zone 6. But they're out of Germany. They are so good. But, so random colors, like I saw other people online on some of my record collector forums. They got some really cool, like yellows and reds and oranges. But the recycled records do tend to be kind of like a mixed bag. This one's kind of a cool, sort of weird army green, but I've gotten some that are kind of like red with like different little pieces of like other colors, so they tend to be like a little more varied. Also, people will kind of do this kind of cloudy smoke effect. This one here is one that I just picked up. Cool artwork. This is the band whose name is a symbol. This is Berserker Volume 2. This band just completely improvises their albums, and it's crazy. They're an art collective that makes music, essentially. And this vinyl, check that. It's kind of like the recycled, but it's got a little bit better quality of variation in there, like more intentional. Kind of a galaxy swirl, people will call it, things like that. The Kikagaku Moyo album from earlier is sort of that same concept, but with more contrasting colors. Let's grab that one last time. I don't know where it went. But, yeah, you should definitely check out the colored vinyl. You can get real pretentious and be like, it's a fad, like kind of like picture discs was. I guess I don't have any picture discs, but I guess I have the Tool Lateralis picture disc. But those can have some sound quality problems too, historically speaking. They don't hold up quite as well. So that's something to keep in mind. And now they're doing the hologram discs. Also, I've also seen discs with liquid on the inside, so when you move the disc, the liquid splashes around. They're getting pretty creative nowadays. This is that Kikagako Moyo, kind of a better example of the Galaxy Swirl or Galaxy Splatter, like high contrasting halftone. I have another record that looks just like that from Slift, the Hyperion edition they called it, from their album Uman. Wait, Uman. Yeah. Anyway, well, that's my gist. I like the color better, and if you collect records, you want the colored. You want the deluxe, you want the colored, you want the 3D, you want the limited edition, whatever is the most limited, but also the best looking. If a record has 3 limited edition versions, the one that will be worth the most is the one that looks the coolest. That's it. But careful with that collecting stuff, because, I mean, once you start collecting, where does that lead? Will you become afraid? Afraid to listen to your records? Should you even open the mailer that it comes in? Because that cardboard mailer will protect your records from damage. Oh, didn't think about that, did you? I mean, fuck. Some of those people don't open them. It's just so they can turn them and sell them. Some of those people buy 2-3 versions of the album so that they've got one for themselves, one to sell. But you don't have to be involved with that. You can just love it. Love it, love it. Play the vinyl, hear the good music, get the good speakers, get the good stereo, and just ever so slowly, step by step, year by year, upgrade your system. These records are going to last a really long time. So you got your whole life to upgrade your setup so that it sounds perfect. All right. Thank you so much. And be sure to subscribe. Check out my website, thepsychrock.com, where I have new psychedelic rock music reviews. Very hard genre to follow. The records from it are worth a lot of money. Might be worth checking it out. Not to mention, that is art. That is art. The music on that blog is not made for money. Well, a little bit, but it's made for the art. And so, pushing the boundaries, pushing the envelope, thepsychrock.com, find cool bands, buy records. Buy records. It supports bands. It really does. Buy records. Oh, so you got to buy a new record. You have no choice. You have to buy. Bye.